Your rosemary isn't dying because you forgot to water it. It's dying because you watered it too much, because you gave it too much shade, because you put it in soil that was too rich. In other words, it's dying because you cared for it. Rosemary is one of the most commonly killed herbs in American homes. Not because it's difficult, but because everything our instincts tell us to do is exactly wrong for this plant. I killed 3 rosemary plants before I figured out why. Then I learned 8 things that completely changed how I grow it, and I haven't lost one since. This video is those 8 things. And if you've ever watched a rosemary plant slowly brown and die despite your best efforts, stay with me, because the reason and the fix will surprise you. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Rosemary is not a houseplant. It never was. It's a Mediterranean shrub. It evolved on rocky, windswept hillsides in southern France, Spain, Italy, and Greece, baking in full sun, roots in almost pure gravel, surviving on almost no water for weeks at a time. In the wild, rosemary grows into a woody shrub 4 to 6 feet tall. It lives for decades. It laughs at drought, poor soil, and salt air. But the moment you bring that plant indoors, dim light, still air, rich moist potting mix, regular watering, you've placed a coastal survivor into conditions it was never built for. The decline is so slow that most people don't realize what's happening until it's too late to save. So before we get into the 8 lessons, understand this one core principle: you're not watering a houseplant. You're recreating a Mediterranean hillside inside your home. Everything else follows from that. Lesson 1: light. The number 1 killer of indoor rosemary is not overwatering. It's low light. Rosemary needs a minimum of 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight per day. Not bright indirect light. Not near a window. Direct sun hitting the leaves. Here's what makes this tricky. Most people dramatically overestimate how much light their home actually gets. A spot that feels bright to you might only receive 2 or 3 hours of real direct sun. For rosemary, that's starvation. When it's not getting enough light, the plant starts shedding leaves from the inside out. The interior goes brown and bare, while the outer tips still look green. By the time the tips start dying, the plant is already in critical condition. Fix: south-facing window. As close to the glass as possible, if you don't have a south-facing window. A grow light isn't optional, it's the minimum the plant needs to survive. Run it 10 to 12 hours a day, positioned within a few inches of the foliage. Outdoors, put it against a south-facing wall. The wall reflects heat and light, creating a warm microclimate rosemary loves. If that spot isn't sunny enough for tomatoes, it's not sunny enough for rosemary. Now here's where rosemary care gets genuinely counterintuitive, and this is the part that trips up even experienced gardeners. Lesson 2: watering. The advice you've heard is, rosemary is drought tolerant, so water less. That's half right, and the half they leave out kills plants. Yes, soggy roots cause root rot. Rosemary dies fast in waterlogged soil. But here's what most people miss. Indoor rosemary in winter can also die from being too dry. Heated homes in winter drop humidity to 20 or 30% drier than many deserts. Rosemary's needle-like leaves lose moisture fast in that dry air. If the roots can't replace it quickly enough, the foliage desiccates. The plant dies of dehydration while the owner thinks they're correctly letting it dry out. The balance: water when the top inch of soil is dry, but before the entire root ball dries completely. In summer, that might be every 4 or 5 days. In winter indoors, every 7 to 10 days depending on your home. Check the soil. Don't water on a schedule. Schedules don't account for the dozen variables that change how fast soil dries. The humidity trick: place a layer of pebbles in your drainage saucer, keep water in it up to the pebble level, and set your pot on top. As the water evaporates, it creates a humid microclimate around the base of the plant. Roots stay dry because they're above the waterline, but the air around the foliage gets the moisture boost it needs. This single trick prevents most indoor winter deaths. Lesson 3: soil standard. Potting mix is designed for tropical houseplants, plants that want consistent dampness. Rosemary wants the opposite. Mix your potting soil with 30 to 50% perlite, coarse sand, or fine gravel. The mix should feel gritty. When you water, it should drain through and out the bottom within seconds, not pool on the surface and soak in slowly. You can also use cactus and succulent mix straight from the bag. Rosemary's needs overlap significantly with succulents in this regard. It wants its roots to get a drink, then dry out fast, just like on a rocky Mediterranean hillside where rain drains off in minutes and the sun bakes the soil dry within hours. Most plant care guides cover light, water, and soil. But there's a fourth factor that almost no one mentions, and it's responsible for a huge number of rosemary deaths, especially indoors. Lesson 4: Airflow. Rosemary evolved on windswept hillsides. Air moves constantly through its foliage. That movement does two things. It keeps humidity low around the leaves, preventing fungal disease, and it dries the foliage fast after rain, reducing the time moisture sits on the needles. Your living room has almost zero air movement. The air around your rosemary is still, warm, and gets increasingly humid as you water and the plant breathes. Those are perfect conditions for powdery mildew, a gray-white fungal coating that weakens rosemary fast and is very difficult to eliminate once it takes hold. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple: a small USB desk fan running on low near your herb collection. It doesn't need to blow directly on the plant. Just circulating air in the area is enough to prevent fungal issues entirely. Small thing. Enormous difference. Lesson 5: Pruning. Rosemary grows on a woody base. Lower stems become hardwood over time while new growth extends from the tips. Without pruning, it gets leggy, woody, and bare at the base. The best part of pruning rosemary: every time you cook with it, you're pruning it. Harvest sprigs from the tips, about 3 to 4 inches long, cutting just above a leaf node. That node then produces 2 new branches, making the plant bushier and denser over time. Once a year in early spring, do a more significant shaping, cut back about a third of the previous year's growth, maintaining a rounded shape. This prevents the bare base problem and keeps the plant compact enough for containers. Here's the counterintuitive truth: the more you use your rosemary, the healthier it gets. A plant that gets harvested from regularly is denser, more productive, and more aromatic than one left to grow untouched. Using it is part of caring for it. Everything we've covered so far is important. But if I had to pick the single moment that kills the most rosemary plants, it would be this. Lesson 6: The indoor-outdoor transition. If you live in zones 7 through 10, rosemary can stay outdoors year-round. Certain cold-hardy varieties like ARP or Madeline Hill can survive down to zone 6 with some protection. But in colder climates, rosemary comes indoors for winter, and the transition is where most plants die. Not from cold, from shock. You cannot take a rosemary that's been living in 8 hours of intense outdoor sun and full wind and put it on a kitchen counter in October. The sudden shift from that outdoor intensity to dim indoor light causes rapid decline. The solution is a 2-week gradual transition. Start moving the plant to progressively shadier spots outdoors, then bring it inside to your brightest window. Even with acclimatization, expect some leaf drop in the first few weeks. That's stress, not death. If the stems are still green when you scratch the bark, the plant is alive and will recover. In spring, reverse the process. Don't put a plant that spent winter in weak indoor light directly into full outdoor sun. The leaves will scorch. 2 to 3 weeks of gradual reintroduction, shade first, then partial sun, then full sun. This patience prevents the sudden death that makes people say rosemary is hard to grow. Lesson 7: Propagation. This one will save you money forever. Rosemary propagates easily from stem cuttings. One healthy plant can supply you with as many new plants as you want, for free. Take 4-inch cuttings from healthy stem tips. Strip the lower 2 inches of leaves, leaving a bare stem and a tuft of needles at the top. You can root in water or directly in soil. Water rooting is faster. Place strip stems in a glass of water, change it weekly, and within 3 to 4 weeks, you'll see roots. Once roots are an inch or 2 long, transplant into soil. Soil rooting takes 6 to 8 weeks, but produces slightly stronger roots. Dip the stripped end in rooting hormone if you have it, though it's not essential. Keep moist but not wet, in bright indirect light. After 6 weeks, give it a gentle tug if there's resistance. Roots have formed. Best time: spring or early summer when the plant is actively growing. One mother plant can supply a dozen cuttings per year without being harmed as long as you don't take more than a third of the foliage at once. Lesson 8: Varieties matter. Choosing the right variety for your situation makes a real difference. For cooking, Tuscan Blue. Broad needles, high oil content, intense pine-forward flavor. The variety most professional chefs prefer. Grows upright and bushy, ideal for containers and kitchen windowsills. For cold climates, ARP. Developed in Texas, tested across the U.S. Survives Zone 6 winters and even sheltered Zone 5 spots with mulch. Your best bet if you want rosemary outdoors year-round in the Midwest or Northeast. For containers and hanging displays, Prostratus, a low-growing, cascading variety that drapes beautifully over pot edges. Ornamental and functional best in Zones 8 and warmer, or brought indoors for winter. For indoor survival, Salem. This variety is less sensitive to short day length, meaning it handles reduced winter indoor light better than most cultivars. If you've repeatedly lost rosemary over winter despite doing everything right, try Salem before concluding indoor rosemary is impossible for you. The science of flavor. Why neglect makes better rosemary. Here's something that connects everything we've covered, and most gardening videos never mention it. The intense aroma and flavor of rosemary comes from volatile oils stored in tiny glands on the surface of its needles. When you crush a sprig between your fingers and get that hit of pine and camphor, that's those glands rupturing. Research on commercial rosemary oil production has found something remarkable. Plants grown in poor, fast-draining soil, in full sun, with moderate drought stress produce significantly higher concentrations of these oils than plants grown in rich, moist, comfortable conditions. Stress triggers the plant to ramp up oil production, thought to be a defense response against UV radiation, insects, and water loss. What that means for you? The same care practices that keep your rosemary alive: lean soil, full sun, infrequent watering, also make it taste more intense and smell more aromatic. A pampered rosemary in rich, moist soil will taste mild and flat. A slightly stressed one grown in gravel with infrequent water will taste like the rosemary you get at a great restaurant. Comfort produces bland rosemary. A little hardship produces the flavor that makes it irreplaceable. Since I learned these 8 things, my rosemary hasn't just survived. It thrives indoors through winter, outdoors all summer, producing fragrant needles year-round, and those small blue flowers in spring that most people never see on a plant they grew themselves. Rosemary isn't difficult. It's just different. Stop treating it like a tropical houseplant and start treating it like the Mediterranean coastal shrub it actually is, and everything clicks. If this changed how you think about rosemary, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's been your biggest rosemary struggle: indoor, outdoor, or the transition? I read every one.